Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that is absolutely critical in our lives' focus. We live in a world that is more distracted than ever before. It's a world where we are constantly bombarded with notifications, emails, messages, and endless distractions pulling us in every direction. Yet, in the midst of all this chaos, there are those who find a way to cut through it all and achieve their dreams. They don't get caught in the noise. They stay focused. I want to share with you 6 powerful strategies to stay focused in a distracted world. These aren't just theoretical ideas. These are practical steps you can begin applying today. So let's dive in. When you understand your purpose, when you have a deep connection to why you're doing something, distractions no longer have the power to derail you. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt completely immersed in something so much so that time seemed to disappear? That's the power of purpose. When we have a strong, clear reason for what we're doing, nothing can pull us away from it. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever worked on something that mattered to you deeply, where every second felt worthwhile, even when the going got tough? Maybe it was a personal project, a dream, or something you were deeply passionate about. For many of us, the answer to what kept us going in those tough times is simple. It was our why. It was that sense of purpose that gave us the strength to keep going, to push through, and to sacrifice when necessary. You see, when you're connected to your why, distractions lose their grip on you. When you're clear about your reason for doing something, whether it's a personal goal or a professional mission, you develop a focus that allows you to tune out the noise around you. Without a purpose, however, every little distraction becomes a mountain, a barrier to success, a detour on your journey. You begin to fall victim to the external world pulling you in every direction, and before you know it, your time and energy are drained by things that don't truly matter. Let me give you a real-world example. Picture a mother who works 3 jobs to support her children. She's exhausted physically and mentally. After a full day at work, she comes home, sits at her kitchen table, and starts on the next task that needs to be done. She's tired, and if she were to listen to the noise of the world around her, she might just give in to the temptation of rest, or watch TV, or scroll through social media. But she doesn't. Why? Because she has a deep why hour. Every she spends working late into the sacrifice she makes, every bit of fatigue she endures, is all tied to her purpose. Her why keeps her going. And that's the secret. When your reason is strong enough, when your purpose is clearly defined, no distraction can stand in your way. This is the same for you. Whatever your goal is, whether it's building a business, writing a book, or creating a better future for your family, you need to connect deeply to your reason for pursuing it. And when you do, you'll find that no matter what the world throws your way, you'll stay focused. You'll stay resilient. You'll find strength you didn't even know you had. It's not about pushing harder or trying to do more. It's about being rooted in your purpose. Because when you're connected to something bigger than yourself, the challenges become opportunities and the distractions are no longer a problem. And here's the truth. You can't afford to be distracted. The world is people who want your attention, systems that demand your time, social media that tries to steal your focus. But the question is, how badly do you want it? How much do you believe in your purpose? When you truly connect to your why, it becomes a shield. It becomes your guiding light that directs you even when everything around you is trying to pull you off course. It's easy to get lost in the chaos. It's easy to be pulled in 100 different directions. But when your purpose is crystal clear, when your why is rooted deep in your heart, distractions simply lose their power. Every time you face a decision or a temptation to veer off course, remember your why. Let it remind you why you're here, why you're working so hard, and why staying focused is the only path that will lead you to your destination. So take a moment to ask yourself, what is your why? And when you connect to it fully, I promise you, nothing will stand in your way. Every challenge will become easier to navigate, every sacrifice more meaningful, and every effort will be worth it. Because your why will be stronger than any distraction the world can throw your way. You may have noticed that focus doesn't just happen on its own. It's not something you can hope to stumble upon. It's something you create, something that comes from intention, from the daily habits you cultivate. We all know that life can be a whirlwind filled with distractions pulling us in every direction, and yet the truly successful people are the ones who have figured out how to stay on course, even in the midst of the chaos. But how do they do it? How do they keep their focus sharp when the world is screaming for their attention? The answer is simple. Focus is the result of consistent daily habits. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions that, when compounded over time, create a powerful force of discipline and clarity. Success doesn't happen in one giant leap. It's the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. The habits you build today are what will shape your tomorrow. Think about the last time you accomplished something significant. Chances are, it wasn't because you worked harder or longer than anyone else. It was because you had a system or routine that kept you on track. You showed up every day, and because you did, you made progress. Success doesn't require some grand one-time effort. It's about showing up consistently, doing the little things that matter every single day. It's those small, consistent actions that build momentum, and before you know it, your focus becomes second nature. For those who have found success, routines are the cornerstone of their day. They don't leave their focus to chance. They understand that to stay on track, they need to create systems that work for them. It's not about just working hard, it's about working smart. If you can establish a routine that sets you up for success each day, you've already won half the battle. Take, for example, the morning routine. The way you start your day determines how the rest of it unfolds. Have you ever woken up late, rushed to get ready, and immediately felt like you were playing catch up all day? The distractions seem to multiply. The stress level rises, and before you know it, the day has slipped away with very little accomplished. But when you start your day intentionally, when you have a set routine that primes you for success, the entire day shifts. I know a successful entrepreneur who starts his mornings at 5 a.m. That first hour is sacred. He spends the first 30 minutes reviewing his goals, reflecting on what he wants to accomplish, and setting his intentions for the day. Then he takes 30 minutes to work out, clearing his mind and setting his body in motion. By 7 a.m., he's already accomplished more than most people do all day. He's focused, energized, and ready to tackle whatever comes his way. This isn't about forcing yourself into a rigid schedule. It's about finding what works for you and sticking to it. Your routine doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It doesn't matter if you're an early riser or not. What matters is that you create a routine that sets you up for success. Whether it's meditation, reading, writing, or exercise, what's important is that your routine becomes an automatic part of your day. When it does, focus will start to feel effortless, like breathing. Here's the key. When your routine becomes automatic, focus becomes natural. It's no longer a struggle to block out distractions. You've already created a system that directs your energy, so when the temptations of the day come knocking, you're ready. The more you stick to your routine, the less room there is for distractions to take hold. The noise fades away because your focus has a solid foundation to stand on. This is why successful people don't just rely on willpower, they rely on their habits. Habits shape their lives and their success. If you want to achieve anything significant, you need to put the time and effort into building those habits. You need a routine that fuels your focus and keeps you on track, no matter how chaotic the world gets around you. So I challenge you, start with one small routine tomorrow. Set an intention for your day, create a morning ritual, and stick to it for a week. The more you make it a habit, the easier it becomes to stay focused. And once that routine becomes a part of you, I promise you distractions will no longer stand in your way. We all have moments when we find ourselves lost in the digital world, scrolling through social media, checking notifications, or watching video after video, telling ourselves, I'm just going to check this one thing. But before we know it, 30 minutes have passed. An hour has gone by, and we've done nothing but drift, consumed by distractions that don't add any value to our lives. We close the app or turn off the TV and feel that nagging sense of guilt. We wonder, why did I just waste that time? This is a reality for many of us. The truth is, these distractions aren't accidental. They're designed to pull us away from what truly matters. These are what I call low-value distractions. They don't serve your personal growth, your career, or your relationships. They do not move the needle forward in your life. Instead, they steal your most precious resource, time. And once time is gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. The first step in eliminating distractions is recognizing them. It's easy to convince ourselves that scrolling through social media for hours or binge watching TV shows is harmless. But let's face it, these things don't add any real value. They might provide temporary entertainment, but they do nothing to help us grow, achieve our goals, or make progress toward our dreams. In fact, they do the opposite. They pull our attention away from what's truly important. I remember a time when I was addicted to watching TV. It became part of my daily routine, coming home, sitting in front of the television for hours, zoning out. At first, it seemed harmless. It's just a show, I'd say to myself. But one day, I stopped to ask myself, what am I gaining from this? How is this contributing to my growth? The answer was clear. It one nice time I spent in front of TV was not to vary. It was stealing the very thing I needed to grow my time. So I made a decision. A simple but powerful decision. I stopped watching TV during the week. The change wasn't easy. At first, there was resistance. I found myself craving the escape, the entertainment. But over time, something amazing happened. I started feeling clearer, more focused. My evenings were no longer consumed with mindless distractions. I had time to read, learn, reflect, and work on the things that truly mattered to me. And with that, my productivity skyrocketed. The more time I reclaimed from those low-value distractions, the more I invested in myself, and the more my life began to shift. The same thing can happen for you. The key is recognizing where these distractions are coming from. Is it your phone? Maybe it's constantly pinging with notifications from social media apps or messages that pull you into irrelevant conversations. Is it the internet? How much time are you spending watching videos, reading articles, or getting sucked into a rabbit hole of content that doesn't move you closer to your goals? Or perhaps it's the people around you. We all know someone who can drain our energy and steal our focus. Once you've identified where these distractions are coming from, the next step is eliminating them. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything entirely, but you need to take control. Turn off notifications on your phone. Set designated times for checking social media and stick to those times. Don't let the digital world hijack your time. Take back control of your day. Make a conscious effort to protect your focus. It might seem hard at first, but the more you begin to eliminate these distractions, the more room you make for the things that really matter. And when you make space for the important things, your personal growth, your family, your career, you start to feel the shift. You'll be more focused, more intentional with your time, more productive. You'll begin to move closer to your goals because you're no longer allowing the world to steal your attention. Remember this, distractions are not accidental. They are intentionally designed to capture your attention. But you have the power to take control. You can decide where your energy goes, and you can choose to stop wasting time on things that add no value. So I challenge you to look at your day. Where are the distractions? Where are you losing your time? And once you identify them, make a decision. Eliminate them. The results won't be immediate, But over time, you'll see how much clarity, focus, and progress you can achieve when you stop allowing low-value distractions to run your life. Focus doesn't thrive in long, drawn-out periods of effort. It thrives in intense, short bursts. Think about it. How many times have you sat down to work, only to find yourself drifting off after 30 minutes or so? Your mind starts to wander. You start thinking about everything else, what you have to do later, the laundry, the emails piling up. The truth is, our attention span has limits. We can only focus for so long before we start to lose that sharpness. That's why many of us struggle with staying focused on the tasks that matter most. But here's the good news: you don't have to work for hours on end to get things done. In fact, some of the most productive people in the world understand that focus thrives in short bursts, and they use time blocks to harness this natural rhythm of the mind. This is why techniques like the Pomodoro technique are so effective. The principle is simple: work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. It's not just about the technique itself, it's about understanding the psychology behind it. Our brains can stay focused for a limited amount of time, but when we give ourselves permission to work intensely for a short period, knowing that a break is coming, we stay focused and energized. Think about how many times you've tackled a big task only to feel overwhelmed by the sheer size of it. The mountain seems too high to climb. But when you break it down into smaller chunks, when you give yourself just a set period to focus, suddenly the task becomes manageable. Instead of thinking, I have to write this entire report, you think, I'll write for 25 minutes, and then I'll take a break. That shift in mindset makes the task seem less daunting, and in turn, it makes your focus stronger. I know a writer who has used this exact strategy to create a successful career. Every day, she sits down to write for 30 minutes. And for those 30 minutes, she's all in. There's no checking emails, no thinking about laundry, no distractions. She focuses completely on her writing. When the timer goes off, she takes a 10-minute break. This break allows her to refresh, recharge, and come back to her work with a renewed sense of focus. Over time, those short bursts of intense concentration have compounded into books and articles that matter. Books that have been published and articles that have made a significant impact. What's truly powerful about this method is that it doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require hours of nonstop work. Instead, it focuses on getting the most out of a short period of intense focus. And the best part, you give yourself permission to rest. There's no guilt when you take a break. You know that you've been working hard for that time block, and now it's time to recharge and come back even stronger. It's the same principle that applies to other areas of life as well. Take exercise, for example. We've all heard the phrase quality over quantity. When you focus your energy into shorter, more intense workouts, you get better results than if you just slog through long, unproductive hours. The key is intensity and focus. When you apply that same mindset to your work, you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish in a short period. So let me ask you, how are you managing your time? Are you spreading yourself thin, trying to focus on too many things at once? Or are you using time blocks to hone in on the task at hand? You don't have to work harder or longer. You just need to work smarter by creating blocks of time where you're completely focused on one thing, whether it's writing, working on a project, or any other task. You create an environment where productivity thrives. The results speak for themselves. When you give yourself permission to focus for short bursts of time, you'll find that distractions become less tempting, your productivity soars, and your ability to make meaningful progress on your goals skyrockets. It's the power of focus in action. And once you make time blocking a part of your routine, you'll wonder why you ever worked any other way. In the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, it's easy to forget that we have the power to control where our focus goes. We're constantly pulled in 1,000 different directions: work, family, social obligations, and the never-ending stream of information that floods our minds from all sides. But amidst this chaos, there's a simple truth that we often overlook. We can train our minds to focus, to stay calm, and to be present in the moment. Meditation and mindfulness are not just trendy words thrown around by self-help gurus. They are proven practices that can transform your ability to concentrate, reduce stress, and help you achieve a state of mental clarity. Think about it. How often do you find yourself getting distracted by your own thoughts? Maybe you're working on a task and suddenly your mind begins to wander. You're thinking about what you need to do later, something you forgot to do yesterday, or even something that happened last week. It's as if you're trying to focus on one thing, but your mind is all over the place. The reality is, this is a natural part of being human. Our brains are wired to wander. But what if there was a way to train your brain to focus longer, to block out those distractions, and to stay present with the task at hand? The answer lies in mindfulness and meditation. You see, these practices are not just about sitting cross-legged on a mat and breathing deeply for an hour. They are about training your mind to be in the moment. Studies have shown that people who practice mindfulness regularly are able to stay focused for longer periods of time. They can deal with distractions more effectively and return to their task with greater clarity. In fact, mindfulness meditation has been proven to enhance cognitive function, reduce stress, and improve overall mental well-being. I know it sounds simple, but it works. The science backs it up, and the results are undeniable. When you take a few minutes each day to sit in silence, focus on your breath, and clear your mind, you're training your brain to be less reactive and more responsive. You're teaching it to let go of distractions and focus on what truly matters. It's like giving your mind a workout, strengthening its ability to concentrate and allowing it to perform at its best. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have time to meditate. My life is too busy. But let me ask you this. Do you have time to feel distracted, overwhelmed, and stressed out all the time? Do you have time to let your mind wander aimlessly, preventing you from doing your best work? The truth is, you can't afford not to meditate. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make all the difference. Think about it as an investment in your mental well-being, an investment in your ability to focus, and an investment in your success. Start small. You don't need to meditate for an hour to reap the benefits. Just sit quietly, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Inhale deeply, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly. As thoughts come to mind, and they will gently acknowledge them, then let them go. Bring your attention back to your breath. Over time, you'll begin to notice that your ability to focus on tasks, whether it's work, studying, or even spending quality time with family, will improve. You'll find it easier to block out distractions, and you'll feel a sense of calm and clarity that will carry over into every area of your life. It's not about being perfect. It's not about clearing your mind completely. It's about creating a space where you can reset, recharge, and train your mind to focus. With regular practice, mindfulness and meditation will help you navigate the distractions of life with ease. You'll develop the mental discipline needed to stay on task. And in doing so, you'll unlock a level of focus you never thought possible. So I encourage you, start today. Dedicate just a few minutes each day to practicing mindfulness. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. Over time, you'll find yourself more focused, more present, and more productive. Your ability to shut out distractions will grow stronger, and you'll begin to experience a peace of mind that allows you to perform at your highest level. It's a small investment with big returns, and it's a practice that will serve you for the rest of your life. One of the greatest forces that can drive us towards success is the power of accountability. Think about it when you have someone in your corner, someone who is aware of your goals and expectations. It changes everything. Suddenly, you're not just working for yourself. You're working for something bigger than that. You're working because you've made a commitment, and someone else is there to remind you of it. That sense of responsibility, that promise to someone else, can be one of the most powerful motivators to keep you focused, to keep you pushing forward, and to keep you on track, even when distractions try to pull you away. Here's the thing. When you tell someone your goals, when you put your word on the line, there's a level of accountability that comes with it. It's easy to let ourselves off the hook when no one knows what we're working on, right? I'll do it tomorrow, we say. I'll get to it later. But when someone is checking in on you, when someone knows what you said you're going to do, it becomes much harder to let yourself fall off course. You don't want to let them down. And more importantly, you don't want to let yourself down. It's amazing how much more committed we are when there's someone else rooting for our success, someone who will be there to celebrate when we achieve our goals, and someone who will hold us accountable when we start to slack off. I can remember a time in my own life when this principle made all the difference. I was working on a big project, one that required focus, discipline, and a serious commitment of time. I had set a goal. I'm going to complete this project by next month. It was an ambitious goal, and in the back of my mind, I wondered if I could really pull it off. But then I shared that goal with a close friend. I told them, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to finish it by next month. That simple declaration changed everything. Every week without fail, that friend checked in with me. They asked how the project was going, what progress I had made, and whether I was on track to meet my deadline. They didn't just ask, they cared. They were genuinely invested in my success. And that accountability pushed me to stay focused. Knowing that someone was counting on me to follow through made me less likely to get distracted. It gave me the momentum to stay disciplined, to block out the distractions that might have derailed me. And when the pressure mounted, when the late nights started to wear on me, I remembered that I had made a promise. I didn't want to let my friend down, and more importantly, I didn't want to let myself down. That sense of responsibility kept me on task, kept me motivated. And in the end, I completed that project on time, just as I had promised. Accountability does something magical. It transforms a vague goal into something tangible. When you share your goal with someone else, it becomes real. It's no longer just a thought in your head. It's something that has been spoken, something that is now part of the conversation, part of the expectation. And when someone else knows what you're working toward, you're much less likely to procrastinate, to waste time, or to give in to the temptations of distraction. But here's the thing, you don't need to have a huge team of people holding you accountable. It doesn't take dozens of people checking in on you every day. Sometimes all it takes is one person. One person who believes in you. One person who will ask, how's it going? One person who will give you that gentle push when you start to slack off. So ask yourself, who is that person in your life? Who do you trust? Who can you share your goals with? Once you've identified them, open up, let them know what you're working toward, and ask them to hold you accountable. You'll be amazed at how much more focused, driven, and committed you'll become when you know someone else is invested in your success. Accountability isn't just about someone checking in on you. It's about the commitment you make to yourself and to that person. It's about building a partnership, a team, even if it's just the two of you working together toward your shared goal. When you have that accountability, you'll find yourself staying on track more consistently. You'll work harder. You'll stay focused. You'll show up every day because you've made a promise. And that promise means something. Don't underestimate the power of accountability. It's a tool that can keep you focused, help you overcome distractions, and propel you toward your goals with a sense of urgency and purpose. And when you look back at what you've accomplished, you'll realize that the support and commitment of someone else made all the difference. We live in a world that is constantly pulling at our attention. Every minute there's a new notification, a new headline, a new distraction designed to steal our focus. Whether it's a ping on your phone or a conversation at work, it seems like the world is doing everything it can to divert your mind from the task at hand. But here's the powerful truth. While the world may be full of distractions, you have complete control over where you place your focus. The decision is yours. Too many of us fall into the trap of thinking that success is about working harder or putting in more hours. We believe that the answer lies in doing more, being more, running faster. But let me tell you, working harder isn't always the answer. It's about working smarter. It's about being intentional with your time and energy, creating systems of habits that align with your goals, and taking steps every day to eliminate the distractions that try to derail you. Imagine for a moment how different your life could be if you truly mastered the art of focus. Think about how much more you could accomplish, how much more present you could be in the moment, how much deeper your relationships could go. Focus is the foundation of all progress. When you have clarity, when you can direct your attention to the things that matter, you are unstoppable. But without that focus, everything else becomes a battle. It's like trying to run a marathon with weights attached to your legs. Every distraction, every piece of noise slows you down. Now, I want you to think about this. Success is not just about achieving big things. It's about the small, consistent actions that compound over time. It's about waking up every day with purpose and intention, knowing exactly what you're working towards and staying committed to that path despite the distractions that will inevitably arise. You can build your dreams through small, focused efforts, but you've got to be intentional about where you put your energy. Let me ask you a simple question. What's one thing you can do today to sharpen your focus? It doesn't have to be a monumental shift. It doesn't have to be a massive life-changing decision. Start small. Maybe it's eliminating just one distraction from your day. Maybe it's setting aside time each morning to plan your day and prioritize your most important tasks. Maybe it's simply turning off your phone notifications for an hour so you can give your full attention to the work in front of you. These small decisions, these small steps, are the ones that will build the momentum you need to stay on track and achieve the success you desire. When you begin to take control of your focus, amazing things start to happen. You'll feel more productive, more present, and more in control of your life. You'll find that you have more time for the things that truly matter: your family, your health, your passions, and less time wasted on things that pull you away from your purpose. Success becomes a byproduct of focus. The more you direct your energy to what matters, the more you'll see results. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is the key that unlocks your potential. So I urge you today to make that decision. Choose to take control of where you place your attention. It may not be easy at first, but every step you take toward mastering your focus will bring you closer to the life you want to live. And when you look back, you'll see just how far you've come, because success isn't a destination. It's the result of the focus you maintain day in and day out. Start small, but start today. Choose to focus on the things that matter most and watch how your life transforms.